But I know I'm not that. Chapter 2. I jolt awake, still clutching my pencil in one hand. I hear a snap as the lead breaks against my notebook. I'm in that confused type of almost awakeness that so often happens when the nightmares scare us, sleeping me back into real life. But this time is different. My danger senses are all going haywire. Alarm bells are ringing in my head, even though I have no clue why. I sit on the sofa, barely breathing, listening with every muscle in my body. But listening for what? My heart is pounding hard against my ribs, so my breath comes out in little machine gun gasps. I sit there, clutching my broken pencil like a pitiful little dagger, waiting. A scared little bunny rabbit. I feel blood throbbing in my sweaty temples. Nothing. Only dark silence broken by the hammering in my chest. Every nightmare image runs rapid fire through my mind. This time, my scared little girl brain adds layers, painting my normal terrors with darker shades of evil, adding fears of new and unfelt pains from unfamiliar monsters. So much ugly to be had here in the dark. Then I hear it, a crunching, scraping noise on the front porch. With it, rough and grainy whisper shouts and strange voices. "Shit, man! What did you do?" one voice says. "Hell if I know. Damn step broke or something. Shut up and help me get my foot out," says another one. "Gonna wake up the whole damn neighborhood, man," says the first again. There's a little commotion. Sounds of splintering wood and tearing fabric and muttered curses. Whoever it is must have hit that second step and broken through. I hope old wood and rusty nails bite him deep and hit an artery or something. But I know I'm not that lucky. I'm frozen in a block of ice here in this 90-degree room. I'm stuck, wanting to run, scream, do something. But my pounding heart nails me down to this old sofa, while the sounds continue on the other side of rotting wood and thin, cheap glass. There are heavy, hateful footsteps on the porch just outside the front door. "You think they heard us?" a whispering questioner asks. "Don't think so," says the other. A scrape flick, a quick flash of light, the smell of a cigarette. "You an idiot? Put that out, man." These words are angry and cut through louder than the ones before. "Shut up," says Idiot. "You sure this is her house?" asks Not Idiot. "Who is this her? Are they talking about me?" I start to shake all over. Little terror tears form ranks in my eyes. "Yeah. He said he saw him go in here with her this afternoon," says Idiot. "Not me. Mom. They're here for Mom. What has she gotten us into this time?" "Okay," says Not. "Idiot. Let's do this then." "Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. What is happening? What is happening?" The door explodes inward with a sound that shakes the world. Two big shapes fill the doorway, silhouetted against the sick streetlight yellow. One of them holds what looks like a baseball bat. Their shadows, tall, dark, and mean, take over my life and fill up my little corner of earth. One of them takes a step forward. I break the heavy silence with a little involuntary squeal. I hear a little click, and fierce light fries my eyes to little scared crisps. "Damn it. He didn't say nothin'. About no kid, man," says one. "Hell, I'm supposed to know there's a kid here," says the other. I hold my hand over my eyes, trying to shield them from the painful glare. I can't see a thing. I'm a sweaty little sitting duck. "I ain't messin' with no kid, man. We'll do him next chance we get," says the first. I'm out. Angry footsteps beat the floorboards and trail out the doorway and into the street. Other footsteps come closer. I'm still a trembling, stinking mess, blinded by fear and bright white light. Something cold and metal is pressed hard against my cheek, squishing my cheek against my teeth. I taste penny copper blood. Harsh words whisper in my ear. I can feel his breath. It smells like cigarettes and hot meanness. Not a word about this to anyone. You got that? You run your ugly trap about this to anyone, and I'll find out about it and make you regret it. I say nothing. My breath, ragged and broken, has forgotten how to make words. The metal bites deeper and presses my head against the sofa. You got that? I manage a weak little nod. Good. He spits back at me. I squeeze my eyes shut. My eyelids are sponges, squishing out warm tears. The metal thing leaves my face, and the heavy footsteps pound out the doorway and into the night. The ice covering my bones finally melts, and I run up to the door and slam it closed. Instead of latching like a normal, self-respecting door, it bounces back and almost pounds me in the face. I flick on the light and look at the damage. The dirty floor is covered in shards and splinters, and the wood all around the little lock thingy that sticks into the door frame is all busted up. There's no way that thing will lock now. I look around for something to bar the door with, and suddenly my house looks so broken and empty. I mean, I know this place has always been a crap hole, but now it feels like the crappiest crap hole in this whole craffly corner of the world. Before, at least, I could hope to lock the crazies out of my own little crap hole. When I was a little kid, I watched this video in science class about bugs who shed their hard exoskeletons to create new, bigger ones for growing bodies. But after they crawl out of their armor, it takes a while for the new suit to harden, and until that happens, birds and bigger bugs can scoop them up and gobble their soft little bodies. They've got to be good at hide and seek at blending in when they're all squishy. Otherwise, they're dead meat for whatever hungry thing comes along. That's how I feel. I'm this squishy, vulnerable little thing. After I finally wizened up after my life went to crap, I played at having this tough exterior. This I don't take any crap from anyone, so don't even try it front. I thought the world would. Just leave me alone if I looked bad enough and acted the part a little bit. I never really wanted to be a bad kid, but pretending to. B1 kept the tearing claws and sharp teeth at bay. For the most part, anyway. I wore that costume for a long time, but lately it's been rotting and falling off piece by piece. I try to keep my armor oiled and polished to convince everyone to leave me alone, but the tears that come 1,000,000 times a day make it all rusty and weak. Then the hurts just break through and shatter little pieces of me away. And now I'm a slimy, skeletonless bug just waiting to be devoured. I dart around the ruined house, one eye searching for something to give me at least a tiny sense of security, the other glued to the windows waiting on a new predator to come along and gobble me up. I grab a busted old chair from the kitchen, this rusty metal thing with a bare seat, and shove it under the doorknob and jam the door closed. It seems to work like a charm in the movies, but I don't have much faith in it. Chapter 3. Feeble rays of morning shining through the little bathroom window lull me to real sleep at some point. I snap awake, and prescription-strength sunlight tells me that I've totally overslept. I don't know what time it is because I don't have a phone and my mom is still dead to the world, but I know school must have started at least a couple of hours ago. I think about just skipping school for a minute. It might be nice to get away from all the crazy middle school bullcrap for a day. Just thinking about taking a break from some of the jerks at school spreads a buttery little smile across my face, even after last night's ordeal. But a gnawing emptiness in my stomach kicks my scrawny butt into gear. I feel so lost and alone at school, but there's absolutely nothing for me here. And I mean nothing. No food, no prospects, nothing between me and the monsters except a rotten, now, broken door. I think about last night. Those guys were looking for a hymn. Not for Mom, but for whoever's in there with her. I'm not sure what she's gotten mixed up in, but I've got to warn her. I go peck on her door, but no one answers. I don't knock too hard because I'm sure Mom'd be super pissed at me if I woke her up. I scribble a little note and stuff it under her door. Guys came looking for your boy. Bad news. One of them had a gun, I think. Be careful. See you after school. I unwedge the chair from the front door and swim out into a humid morning. The air presses moist and hot against my skin, and I think long and hard about just turning around and slamming the door on this whole day. But then again, who knows when Mom will finally get up or what kind of mood she's going to be in when she finally comes to. And I don't even want to think about being in the house if what's-his-name gets up first. My stomach ends the debate for good, though. Feed me. I've got to go to school. I may have to stumble and hide my way through this crappy day, but at least I'll eat. My taped-up shoe scrubs along the pavement. It holds better than I would have thought, but I have to change the tape every few days, and the roll of tape that Vulture Lady gave me is getting pretty thin. A few kids gave me crap about it for a while, but I told a kid in the cafeteria that the next person who said a word about my shoe would need to have it surgically removed from their butt. Or something like that, but with a light sprinkling of a few choice words, and with the volume cranked up to a room, silencing, "This girl has issues" level. I spent 2 days in detention for that little outburst, but it was worth it. No one said anything about my shoe after that. In fact, most people steer clear these days. I like it like that. The fewer people who pretend that I exist, the fewer people who engage me in human contact, the less likely I am to go completely berserk and unleash the ugly. She's so close these days, this ugly me. After last night, I don't know how long I can hold her off. I slog on like some zitty adolescent zombie, shuffling my tired feet down this filthy street. A little trickle of traffic zooms by, but no one bothers to take notice of my truant little self. Besides the occasional car in the UN, September-like sticky heat, though, it's one of those storybook mornings. The sun filters cheery and bright down through clouds that look like they've been painted onto blue canvas. A gazillion birds join their morning songs into this constant Twitter chirp orchestra. It's really something. But what am I among all this pretty stuff? My dirty clothes, my worn-out, falling-apart shoes, my smelly, too skinny body? Where do I fit in this picture? I'm pretty sure I'm just a smudge, a little splatter of paint, a failed brush stroke, a mistake. I picture that cheerful TV painter guy with the fro. If he saw me walking along next to his happy little trees under the shade of his happy little clouds, he'd probably scrape me off with his paint knife thing, or smudge me into a happy little grease stain on the sidewalk. My elementary school art teacher always told us that mistakes just make the art better, more real. But this big mistake of me, always tumbling along like garbage in the wind. What could I possibly contribute? Tears sting my eyes and drip down. One of them lands on the duct tape holding my shoe together and sits there like a tiny little puddle. In it, I see the sky reflected bright blue. I wish I could shrink myself down into that minuscule globe. I could be in there all alone under that sky. No noise, none of this nonsense, this constant ugly, the hate, the anger, the hurt. Just me, all alone and quiet and content inside my bright little bubble. I stand there for a few minutes imagining what life could be like without the noise and the mean. What would I think about then? What would I do? Will I ever get to a place away from all this bullcrap? Away from the name? Calling, away from the hurtful looks, away from the pain? I used to think maybe so, but after last night I'm not so sure. I sniff loud and ugly and wipe snot all down the sleeve of my ratty aqua blue hoodie. I saw it in the Lost and Found a couple of weeks ago. It didn't look like total trash and didn't totally smell like butt, but it was smeared with just enough filth and age that I figured I'd be able to sneak it home without Mom noticing that I had something new. She gets super childlike jealous of those kinds of things sometimes. I checked on it every day for like a week to make sure it was still there. Once I figured that its absent-minded former owner had forgotten it for good, I snagged it and took it home. I've worn it 24/7 since then, even though it's been too hot for a hoodie. I don't know. Sometimes when I feel like I'm going to explode, I throw up the hood and kind of turtle down into it and shut the world out. It pisses off the authorities when I do that, but it's better than the alternative. I'd much rather be weird, stubborn turtle girl than crazy, dangerous, ugly me. I keep walking and eventually pass by God's Grace Church. It's this building that looks like someone stapled a steeple on an airplane hangar. It's surrounded by this chain-link fence with prison-style barbed wire at the top. Just inside the fence is one of those signs with the movable letters. It says all welcome. You don't have to be a genius to see the irony in that one. I went there one time not too long ago. I found a flyer for this event that promised fun and food and stuff like that. I used Mom's phone to call the number, and this rickety old church van, bus thing showed up at my house. When I got in, the driver, this middle-aged guy with a comically wide tie, wrinkled his nose and gave one of those disgusted looks. He didn't say anything on the way there, but when he brought me back home, he sure had something to say. "Hey, kid," he said, as I turned to close the door. "Yeah," I said, expecting a churchy something in return. Maybe a bit of advice, or a little nugget of encouragement to take the edge off my crappy existence. Some kind of nice, foreign-sounding Jesus-I thing to keep me warm until next time. Something with a chapter and a verse. I'm not trying to be mean, but maybe you should think about taking a bath or something before next time. Some of the other people complained. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I just stood there, mouth open like a trout, too stunned for any kind of bitchy little comeback. He gave me this uncomfortable-looking smile and leaned over and shut the door in my face. Salty tears stung my eyes, and I stared hurt and hate at the van's dingy taillights as it puttered away. What would Jesus do? I don't know a lot about church stuff, but I'm guessing he'd want to kick that guy's butt. I continue eyes down in my sweaty sleep, deprived trudge until a sudden blast of sound from behind gives me a miniature heart attack. I turn, ready to bolt. Chapter 4. I spin around, claws out, ready to shred someone's face off or jet down an alleyway or blast off to the moon or something. And if I'm not mistaken, I think a little pea came out in the process. Great! Just what I needed. But when my frantic brain is finally able to focus, what I see is not some killer psycho or a rabid animal. It's a police car, and I'm somehow standing in the middle of the street like a total doofus. I guess I wandered out here while I was daydreaming. I guess I'm lucky I wasn't creamed by some a-hole checking his email behind the wheel. Or, I don't know. Maybe I'd be better off as a bloody broken hood ornament. The officer must have done that chirpy, almost cute whoop-whoop thing with the siren when he pulled up to me. He opens the door and puts a black-booted foot down heavy on the pavement. I think about bolting, but that probably wouldn't end too well for me. He looks pretty fit, and I don't think this half-starved, sleep-deprived little me would stand a chance. He stands up tall and straight, and puts on a very policey frown. He takes a couple of steps toward me. All the leather pouches and other stuff on his belt creak and jangle in the stuffy air. Guns and ammo and handcuffs and pepper spray and tasers and all kinds of mean, hurting things. He takes another step, and I tense even more. When I was little, I had this wind-up blue bunny rabbit that Mom and Dad gave me in my Easter basket. I remember seeing it there, half buried in that plastic fake grass stuff surrounded by a million little jelly beans. I loved that thing. I'd wind it up crank for what seemed like forever, until the little spring inside felt so tight that I thought the whole thing would burst. Then I'd let it go and watch it skitter and whiz all over the place while Dad ate the gross black jelly beans that made me gag, but he swore were the best kind once you got a taste for them. I'd laugh, and they'd laugh because I was laughing, knowing that they'd created this precious little Hallmark Channel moment. How long has it been since I've laughed at home? I can't even remember. I'm the wind-up bunny now, cranked up so tight that I'm either going to explode into 100 sharp plastic shards or just go crazy and scuttle around like mad until I'm worn down to a useless little lump. Officer Police Guy must have noticed me tense up, because he stops in his tracks and holds his hands out, palms open toward me in a, "Okay, now take a chill pill because I promise I'm not going to hurt you" way. Neither of us says anything for a few seconds. "You okay, kid?" he finally asks. "You were just kind of standing there in the middle of the street. Didn't even hear me drive up. I don't want you to get hit or anything." I manage a weak little nod. "Am I okay, though?" "Okay. Where you headed?" "Shouldn't you be in school right now?" he says, relaxing his hands a little bit, but still keeping them away from all the scary stuff on his belt. Sunlight glints off the nameplate on his chest. "Anderson." My mouth is, like, total Sahara right now, but I squeeze out a few words. Yeah. I overslept. Headed there now." I motion toward the general direction of the school. Some of the tension melts from his face. "Not a truant street rat. Just an irresponsible bozo. My mom had to go to work early, and I fell back asleep. Then when I woke up, I kind of freaked out and ran right out the door." The lies spill out free and easy and collect into a puddle at my feet. So much easier to lie than to speak the truth. But one of these days I know I'm going to drown. "Well, let me give you a ride then. Don't want to see you get squashed. Besides, you look like you're about to melt," he says with a little smile. He nods over to his cruiser. I stand still, a frozen girl on this hot pavement. Nope, not today. No way I'm getting into that thing. Been there, done that. It didn't end well. I'm ready to make like a bunny rabbit and take my chances. He notices. He says nothing. He walks around the car and opens the front passenger door. "Come on, I'll let you ride up front," he says. He puts on a smile. "It's all right," he says. "I just want to make sure you get there in one piece." I hesitate for a little bit longer. I just started my day, but I'm already exhausted and achy. I haven't had a real meal since yesterday's lunch. It wouldn't hurt to save a few steps. My legs thaw and carry me to the car. He holds the door open for me. I kind of have to finagle myself into the seat, because there's so much stuff scattered around. It's like some sort of garbage bomb went off in here or something. There are a few greasy food wrappers and empty coffee cups in the floor, and some serious-looking police equipment stuff is scattered around like debris after a storm. I look over at the driver's seat. It's pitiful. The yellow foam is poking through the cloth all over the place. It looks worse than the ratty, threadbare sofa in my house. The whole place has this lived-in feel to it, and it kind of makes me sad in a weird type of way. I try to guess how much time he spends in here all alone, watching, listening to the radio chatter, thinking, waiting for garbage like me to do something stupid, wondering if the next call that his radio spits out will be the last he hears. I steal a glance through the holes in the metal cage between the front and back. The seats are hard plastic, spotless, scrubbed clean with some kind of smelly disinfectant. The smell sort of makes me queasy. Just being me makes me queasy. The last time I saw Dad was from the outside of a police car. Harsh blue lights flashed in my eyes, blinding me in short little bursts. But through the flashes I could still see him looking back at me with eyes I didn't recognize. Kind blue eyes which used to look with so much love and tenderness, replaced by red wet things staring anger and hate. The eyes I used to wait for every afternoon were gone. I still see them in old photos sometimes. When I can bear to look at them, that is. When I can cut through the blue lights in my memory and remember what those eyes meant to me in the before times. I feel my eyes now, leaking pain onto my cheeks. I shake the thoughts and the tears away. How long have I been standing here at this open door? What is wrong with me? Chapter 5. I settle myself in among the debris. He closes the door. Not a vicious slam, but a gentle click. I feel like an invader, like I've just crash-landed on an alien planet or something like that. The harsh hospital smell of the disinfectant mingled with the scent of sweat suffocates me. My breath comes faster and faster until I'm seriously worried that I'm going to pass. Out. The sides of the car start to close in and threaten to smash me into a greasy pulp. What am I doing here? How did I get here? My scrawny, dirty hand scrabbles around for the door handle. A sudden voice from my left makes me jump and startles me back to life. A scared little bunny rabbit squeal rushes out of me. Hey, hey! It's okay, says the voice. He's sitting in the car next to me. I didn't even hear him sit down or close the door. Where is my mind today? His voice has lost its police-ness and has softened into a warm blanket. He no longer sounds like some testosterone-fueled authority figure tweaked out on adrenaline. I look over in the direction of his words. He wears a slight frown under a pair of concerned eyes. Not blue, thank God, but a deep brown the color of chocolate cake. Really, are you okay? He asks. Yeah, I say. I guess I'm just a little lightheaded from the walk. Am I lying this time? I can't even remember. Here then, he says. He digs around and pulls out something wrapped in crinkly plastic. It's one of those chocolate and peanut butter Nutty Pal cake things. He hands it over to me. Take this. God knows you need it more than I do. He laughs and pats his belly. He's not really pudgy at all, but I know what he's trying to do. But I'm too hungry and too tired to do that thing where you have to pretend you don't want something the first time it's offered to you just to be polite. Before I can stop myself, I grab the thing out of his hands. Well, snatch is probably closer to the truth. I rip it open with dirty, hungry claws without even looking at him and begin stuffing it into my pie hole. I don't know if it's just because I'm a hungry mess, but it's like the best thing I've ever tasted. The sugary overload gives me a case of the instant warm and fuzzies, and before I know it, I've eaten half of the thing without even taking a breath. When my brain finally catches up and realizes what an ugly wild animal I'm being, I feel my cheeks burn. I drop my hands into my lap. Sorry, I say in a quiet, embarrassed voice. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Don't mention it, he says. You're very welcome. He puts the car into gear and drives slowly. I munch on the rest of the nutty. Pal, trying to be a little bit less of a complete and total pig this time. We ride along in silence for a bit. While I'm chewing, he opens his mouth a couple of times to say something, but no words escape. His face wears a concerned expression. He tries again. So when's the last time you ate something? He finally manages to spit out. So there it is. I silently curse myself for being here right now and for acting like a total starved loser. I might as well have just turned on a big flashy neon sign. Pity me, pity me, pity me. So what am I supposed to do? Lie again? I try to think about the lies that I've already told today. It's so hard to remember the truth when I have to constantly tread water in my lies. It's exhausting. I've heard people say that thing about truth setting you free. And every time my scrawny butt lands in the school office, Mr. Gorley always tells me that the best thing to do in any situation is to just tell the truth. Any person who says that obviously doesn't know crap about my life. In my lousy existence, the truth buys fresh bruises and shiny new heartaches. My mom made me breakfast just before I left, I say. I go back to nibbling, and the car rumbles on. He doesn't say anything else for a second, but then the car lurches as he swings it over to a stop next to the curb. I rattle around in my seat like a little sack of bones. He turns and gives me a look that pins me against the seat. You said that your mom went to work and you fell asleep and made a mad dash out the door when you woke up, he says. His voice doesn't carry any anger, but it has lost its candy coating. My head dips under the surface and my lungs fill with cold water. Splash! I cough and sputter and try to think of yet another whopper. He sees me trying to talk and holds up his hand. Listen, kid, he says in that serious business tone. I'm not an idiot. I don't expect you to tell me everything. I mean, we just met. You're smart not to tell me everything. He sighs and gives a little chuckle. I know you've got no reason to trust me, but listen, His voice cracks, and he breaks off and turns to face the driver's side window. His leg starts to shake a little, bouncing up and down and making little zoot noises as it swishes against the threadbare seat. He takes a deep, shuddery breath and speaks again. I have a daughter about your age. Actually goes to your school, he says, and gestures up the street. The thing is, well, I was a major screw-up when she was little, too young to have a kid, you know. Did a lot of stupid things, me and her mom both. And one of those stupid things... He breaks off again and turns away from me. His leg shakes harder against the seat. I can feel the car bounce along with it. He wipes at his eyes. What is happening? One of those stupid things got her mom killed. After that, I just gave up for a while. Lost custody of her to her mom's folks, he says to the window. He scrubs his eyes again. I'm sorry, I say, not knowing if I'm supposed to say anything, really. Why is he telling me this? I look down at my lap. He waves my words away. They take really good care of her, better than I ever could. He sniffs and turns to me. I look up, and he locks onto me with red, brown eyes shiny with wet. Do you ever get to see her? I ask. Yeah, he says. I've really been trying these last couple of years. Cleaned myself up, got a good job. He gestures down at his uniform. I get to see her sometimes now. He looks out the window again and sighs. A few cars creep by and hit their brakes. I see their occupants rubbernecking. We must be quite the spectacle. But it's hard, you know. Visiting her, knowing that when it's over, she's not coming home with me, he says. He gives a sad, slobbery chuckle. Anyway, Jesus, you don't need to know all this. My point is, looking at you this morning, standing in the street all alone, made me think of my daughter. Made me think of all my screw-ups and what that's done to her. Her grandparents are nice and take real good care of her, but it's gotta hurt, you know? Yeah, I do know. Man, do I know? I don't say anything, but I give a little nod. My eyes begin that familiar burn. Look at me, kid, he says. For some reason I obey and meet his watery eyes. I don't know you, and I don't know your story. But I know what I'm looking at, and I know you deserve better. I can't bear to look at him any longer, and I stare back down at my bony, dirty lap. Little spots of wet begin to appear on my jeans. Just hang in there, okay, kid? He says. Just hang in there. There's a reason for you, and one of these days you'll find it. I manage a weak little nod. Okay, I whisper. Listen, the officer at your school is my buddy. We used to run a lot of calls together. He's a good guy. You know him? I sniff, snotty and loud. Yeah, I say. I'm going to get him to look out for you, okay? Okay, I say. Ugly me pops up out of nowhere and sounds the alarm. What are you agreeing to? Do you really want someone like that sniffing around? What's your name, kid? He asks. Ugly me comes on loud and mean. Lie. 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 I hesitate. What do I do? Warning bells chime, and my heart begins to pound in my chest. This kind of attention could bring a lot of bad stuff down on me. People like me don't survive long in the spotlight. I take a deep breath. Miranda Lewis, I say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There'd be more.
You don't like it?
I
love
do.
it.
No.
I love it.
Yep.
Do you think it's too tall?
No.
No, I don't either, because you're gonna walk up here, you're gonna have your water here,
Yep. Yeah.
and that's too tall for that mirror.
It is too tall. You'd have to bump the mirror up a little bit.
Well, you can't.
I mean, you can't.
The light, the window, you can't go over the window.
No, you don't need to bump it up much, but it's just a shade on the, it just needs a, it just needs a nudge.
I think I would already agree with the black. Oil rub or, because this is getting too thick.
Uh-oh.
Wait, this said it was an 8-inch one. Oh, it is. You do this. That's how it's supposed to work.
Does it still fit even if you do that?
Yeah, let me have the other one on it.